Alright, here's a tutorial video on switches. That's what I call them. I'll give you the proper name here in a second because I don't really know what they are called. Here's a little disclaimer, I'm not a professional, so don't bitch about my audio, my video, the way I talk. It takes too long. I could give two poops. I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart. So hopefully you guys will learn a little something and maybe something you didn't know, and you can create a better creative. Okay, so what is this name thing called? Called the switches. Triggers. So a trigger basically works to where when you interact with it, it will activate, and there are several things in games in this game that will activate off of a trigger. Today I'm going to use the barriers because they're probably the easiest to see. And of course I'll do more tutorials to where I can show you some advanced trigger methods. But a trigger basically works when you step on it, it will transmit, and the device that you have or that you want to trigger with your trigger will activate or deactivate. So, first of all, what we're going to need is we'll go into inventory, and up here, these both of these things here are triggers. I've found that the wall one, the creative button, is a little unstable. So anything you can do with the wall button, you can do with the actual trigger. Uh, so we're gonna stick with the triggers. So I'm gonna equip like four of them, five of them, something like that, just so I have them in my inventory. And then we'll go down here on the bottom to barriers. And when you equip them, they'll go in your trap slot. You get five at a time. So I'm going to grab 10 of them just for shits and giggles. Okay, so basically, we'll throw down a trap. If you don't know how to do a trap, we'll go over that in a different video, but we'll turn the barrier visibility in game on so that you can actually see the trap, which is black. Of course, there's all kinds of different colors and crap, but we'll do black because it's easily seen. And disable when receiving from channels 1 through 24. We're going to put this one on 24. So basically, whenever you run over a trigger that is set to transmit on channel 24, this particular barrier will go down. Now, how do you set up a trigger that transmits on channel 24? Well, if you see here on the bottom of my screen, I have triggers in my number 6 inventory slot. I have no idea where that went. There you go. That's what the trigger looks like. So you run up to it, number 0 customizes it. Triggered by player, on or off. Pretty simple. We're going to leave it on. Triggered by damage, that means can you shoot it, can indiscriminate fire, like if you're in a gunfight and a bullet hits it, it'll trigger. I leave mine off because I like to have control of where the triggers are going. Times you can trigger, of course, I mean, that's pretty simple. You're going to have to use your imagination when it comes to the game, how you're going to use it. We'll leave it on infinite for now. The delay. Once you trigger it, how long does it take to transmit? How long does it take to activate? Trigger sound. When you walk over, it'll go click click. Visual effects, I don't know. I have all that crap turned off on my computer, so I don't know exactly what it does when you run over it. But I'll leave it on just for shits and giggles. Visibility in game. This is an important one. Do you want people to see your trigger or do you not want people to see your trigger? Depending on the situation, you're going to leave that on or off. I'm going to leave it on today just so you can see exactly what it does. Sometimes you may want to do like a maze type creative, and people will be stuck in a 1x1 or a 2x2, and if it's invisible, once they run over it, you can make it so the barrier drops and they will have a route out of the room. Of course, you can make it receive damage while invisible. Um, Enabled, blah, 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 blah. So, this is the one we want. When triggered, transmit on. We have it set up for channel 24. So, when somebody runs over this trigger, it's going to transmit on channel 24, and we have this barrier set up to disable when receiving from channel 24. Pretty simple. So once they run over this, boom, it transmits channel 24, this barrier comes down. Can't test it in this mode. There's that stupid one. You can't test it in this mode, so I'm going to start the game and I'll show you exactly how it works. As I chug on my soda. And I've set up some other ones just to show you perhaps how you would use them. Okay, so here is our trigger. This one was on 24. You can see it. I'll go this way. The barrier right in front of me should disable when I run over this trigger. Simple enough, correct? How you'd want to use that? Well, if you notice, I can't run through this barrier. I want to get into this room here. This particular creative might not have any builds. How do I get into this room? Or if I'm in that room, how do I get out? You set a trigger to disable the barrier, and boom, you can now access this room. Alright, another situation. Say you have a maze type, or I'll show you a different situation and how you want to do it. But same deal. I've got this one set to 4. There's a trap in front of me. I want to go forward. I can't go forward. So you set this, and now you have access. Very, very simple. Alright, once again, you have any questions? I love to do these creatives. I'd love to help you make your own. As long as you have an idea of what you want to do, I can definitely help out. So hit me up in game, Instagram, however you want to do it. Hope you learned something, and we'll catch y'all later.